first start off by saying that No Crying in Baseball, The Inside Story of a League of Their Own is a wonderful book. I've gotten a chance to read it. I've read a lot of the work of Erin Carlson, by the way. She's the author of books including I'll Have What She's Having, How Nora Ephron's three iconic films saved the romantic comedy. It's a thesis I agree with as well, by the way. Her own work appears in many publications, including Vanity Fair, the Los Angeles Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Hollywood Reporter. And I want to tell everybody to head over to Substack, where Erin Carlson, which is ErinCarlson.substack.com, is the place to go to get a lot of groovy content. We have a lot of contributors on this show who actually have stuff over there. If you're looking for some great reading, you can go over to Substack and check her out. Man, I'm telling you, Lindsay, though, this is a great conversation, and I can't wait to have it. Would you care to say good morning to Erin Carlson?
I would care very deeply about it because she's now one of my new favorite people to follow. Please make welcome to the show my new friend, soon to be yours, Erin Carlson. Good morning. Glad to have you.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on and for shouting out my newsletter. I love that.
Yeah,
Shout out. Well, it's a worthy follow. Because it's a worthy follow, and even, by the way, even your like cartoon avatar is cute. So everything about you is festive and fun. And but I like that one of your big focuses is the rom-com. I have, as most of us, I have a love-hate relationship with a rom-com. And what I realized, I watched Family Stone, by the way, last night, and was like itching. I'm still itching because
again.
Oh yeah, I watched it again. I'm itching from it because it makes me so uncomfortable and then happy. And I think that's what rom-coms are. They're that balance of romance and dysfunction. Like I don't know if that's the perfect combination of the two of a rom-com, but in your opinion, in your humble yet expert and brilliant opinion, Erin Carlson, what makes a rom-com, specifically a holiday rom-com? What's the formula, and why do we love romance plus dysfunction equals holidays ?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I think romances just thrive in the holiday season because for many people, December is a lonely month, filled with loss and heartbreak. And holiday movies can make you feel less alone. The main characters are always struggling with something, whether that's like they're missing their ex, they're going through a divorce, they're have financial problems, they're going through, family dramas. So watching these films can make us feel like, oh my gosh, well, these people, they're in my same boat. And thankfully, they all end so happily. You mentioned the Family Stone. That is the most dysfunctional holiday movie perhaps ever. And you cringe just watching Sarah Jessica Parker, like trying to gain the approval of Diane Keaton's character and her terrible but amazing daughter, played by Rachel McAdams.
So good and so bad.
And in the end, however, for people, I feel like we've all seen The Family Stone. It came out in 2005. But SJP's character comes in engaged to Dermot Mulroney or Dylan McDermott, one of the McDermotts. And she ends up falling for his kind of slacker brother, who is so great and is played by Luke Wilson. But it all ends up okay because Dermot Mulroney ends up, falling in love with SJP's sister. And nobody should, get along at the end of this movie, but they do. Because everyone's right where they should belong. And at the end of this dysfunction, there is so much love bonding everyone together. And it's not about having the perfect Christmas, this flawless Christmas. It's just about being with the people you love and accepting people's flaws and imperfections and accepting your own flaws and imperfections, because none of us are perfect. And we all want to be loved and to be appreciated. And if I sound sentimental, it's because this is the most sentimental month out of the year. And I think we love these holiday movies because they allow us to kind of revel in all this sentiment and sap and corniness, because it's the end of the year and we're all feeling reflective. And these films allow us to indulge in just the total sappiness of it all. And that was my long answer.
It's a really good point, though, is the fact
You made me less depressed. I was depressed, and now I'm a little less depressed, so thank you.
But
Right, and that's what holiday movies do. They make us honestly feel less depressed. And I made a list of all my recommendations, and I was sort of like, oh my gosh, these movies are kind of sad when you think about it, but they make you feel happy. They give you the warm fuzzies. And all of these films have like a melancholy feeling to them that I feel like is so holiday. So I made my list. I wanted to target it to your listeners. So I was like, what would a trucker be into? So the same movies I'm into. So, I can recommend, I think my number one is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yep. Best movie of all time. Best movie of all time.
Right. I saw this in the theater. That's how old I am, with my grandparents who loved it. This movie truly has something for everyone to enjoy. I would put this in the category of what to watch with family members of various ages. I don't think Chevy Chase has ever been better as a man just desperately trying to stay positive and not lose his mind amid a series of tragedies. Recall the Christmas Eve dinner where the turkey is overcooked, a cat is electrocuted, and then Uncle
Here's the
Louis
heart.
accidentally burns down the tree while lighting his cigar. And on top of that, Clark still hasn't received his yearly bonus from his boss. He desperately needs the money to cover the cost of a swimming pool that he's bought to install in the backyard. But instead of getting the bonus, he receives a membership to the Jelly of the Month Club.
Oh, that's a gift that keeps on giving all year long, Clark.
Oh, I know. I kind of want to be part of a Jelly of the Month Club. But, it's heartening to know that however bad your holiday is, it's not nearly as bad as Clark Griswold's.
Erin, really quickly, because I want to get through your list, but I also want to point out to a lot of people, too, is that you made a really good point about the darkness and about the permission slip.
Yeah.
And you realize that, like, It's a Wonderful Life, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and The Family Stone, how that comedies and romantic comedies only really come close, and I'm going to get really esoteric here. Think about Shakespeare's title of his play, Much Ado About Nothing, right? Much Ado About Nothing really is... they come close to having the whole thing unravel and end in absolute ugly disaster. And it becomes, you said the great thing, that Christmas, the arrival of Christmas almost gives people a permission slip in the worst of situations to behave in their best possible way. It's almost like you are relieved of being a sap because it's Christmas's fault. You can blame Christmas for being a decent person. It almost feels that way. Is that kind of your feeling too?
That is... so my feeling. And one of those movies that you just reminded me of, that is full of good people doing good things, good but flawed people doing good things, that kind of conjures the Christmas spirit, is The Preacher's Wife. And, there are some movies that just feel like vintage postcards from a more comforting era. And to me, that's The Preacher's Wife, which is now about 30 years old and starred Denzel Washington and Whitney Houston and Courtney B. Vance. Denzel plays a debonair angel sent by God to help Vance's character, a reverend, save his church amid the threats of a real estate developer who wants to tear it down and build luxury condos on the property because, of course. So there's a lot of darkness in this film. And on top of that, Dudley ends up falling in love with Julia, the Reverend's wife, who's played by Whitney Houston, who is radiant and just will lift your spirit when she performs Joy to the World, among other gospel numbers. And Penny Marshall directed the movie, and she was so good about, she also directed Big and A League of Their Own, as you know, and she was good at balancing dysfunction and drama with lightness and comedy. And she was always a sentimental person. And sometimes she was accused of being too sentimental, but here it works. There's an undercurrent of like bittersweetness that touches the heart. And a lot of that has to do with Denzel's character discovering that heaven might just be a place on earth, and then returning to God forever changed for having fallen in love with Whitney Houston, which, I mean, can you blame him? And he's one of the greatest actors in the world.
I'm in love with her too. I also that you like Debonair Angel. I love who's a bet. That's the greatest description of him ever. The Debonair Angel. That just hits. Erin, I want to ask you too, because you are a Hollywood historian. So you're not just pontificating about things you like. You actually know what you're talking about and what these everything is sort of vested in. And I'm curious where the holiday rom-com, where did it really begin? Is there a film in Hollywood history that kind of is in your mind that set the template for what we're still following today?
Oh my gosh. Well, my favorite would probably be White Christmas, which we've all seen, right? With Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye, Vera Ellen and Rosemary Clooney, which, I mean, I could watch that, on continuous loop in December. It is so charming. And to me, it sort of set the stage for, and you could also say It's a Wonderful Life. I feel like those movies kind of set the tone or set the standard for what, a classic holiday film should be and could be. And we keep going back to those films because they're really just, they don't really make them like that anymore. I feel like the last good holiday movie, was The Family Stone, maybe, or even The Holiday with Jude Law and Cameron Diaz.
Sure.
And
those are those the same? I think you said Family Stone is like 2005. Is The Holiday is that same kind of time, right?
The same time period. So I feel like Nancy Meyers made the last good holiday movie in the theater. You can't really talk about Christmas movies without talking about that movie. Again, like The Family Stone, National Lampoons or Something for Everyone here, even though that film kind of got stuck with the chick flick label. A lot of men would like it. Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz play jilted women who impulsively decide to swap homes for 2 weeks during the holiday season. Kate's character moves into Cameron's sleek modern home in LA, and Cameron's character moves into Kate's painfully idyllic cottage in the English countryside. I want to move in there. It is so perfect. In England, Cameron meets Jude Law. He's a widowed father of 2 young girls. He does this cute thing where, to make his daughters laugh, he puts a white napkin over his face, slips on his glasses, and calls himself Mr. Napkinhead. I think you fully have to see it to get the charm. But Cameron Diaz likes what she sees, and this is just a very charming, feel-good romance that will lift your spirits. And I'm not going to lie, I watch this movie every year for the part where Cameron meets Jude at this coziest British pub, and then that one song starts playing. I think it's called Let Go. And then I rewind it and I watch it again.
Same. Hot. Same. It's what we're all looking for, Jem.
A couple of things, by the way, guys, to throw. They're not Christmas movies, but to throw at you as kind of little grace notes that have come afterwards. I think the latest version of Little Women, the one with Timothée Chalamet in it, I think the entire Christmas sequence in that is absolutely in the perfect spirit of what the season is, and the number of scenes they have that are set during Christmas, so that while it's not a Christmas movie, I think that there are extended portions of that really capture what is right about the holiday season from both a kind of what I would call an antiquated version of the rom-com kind of plays itself out through there as well too. And but I think you're right though. It's really hard to kind of name what has been the last great Christmas movie. I have a question for you, and everybody gets asked this question: Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Sorry, you were going to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to admit, I think I've only seen it once with my dad. I'm not really in the demo, although I love Bruce Willis and I love an action film. I don't know. But if people think it's a holiday movie, it's a holiday movie. And it's set during the holidays, so I think that qualifies. But I also want to say The Little Women, the Greta Gerwig directed version, that was a great movie. So maybe the last great Christmas movie was that one. I also want to say that there's some good movies that have that are now streaming on Netflix. So a lot of the holiday films have migrated to streaming TV, and I can fully recommend a movie on Netflix that hits today. It's called My Secret Santa. It's so preposterous. It's about a single mom who's struggling to make ends meet and pay for her teen daughter's snowboarding lessons. So she fakes her way into a gig as the resident Santa Claus at like a high-end ski resort. And she's hiding behind this mask. She has the red suit. She has a fake name called Hugh Man. And she forms this unexpected bond with the handsome hotel manager. And you guys, My Secret Santa took me by surprise. I should hate this movie. I should think it's so cheesy, but it is so good. And the stars, Alexandra Breckenridge, I think I'm saying that correctly, and Ryan Eggle, they're not Jude and Cameron, right? But they have this real kind of authentic chemistry, and the script is so clever. And at one point, the mom, she's impersonating Santa. She gives all this really funny practical advice to children, telling her what they want for Christmas. One kid asks her for a pony, and she's like, where are you going to put it? In your room? It's going to poop on the floor. And I shouldn't have laughed, but I did. So she becomes, in disguise as Santa, she becomes this mentor advisor to the hot hotel manager who has no clue that she's also the stylish, kind of cynical woman that he encounters in a record store when she doesn't have her Santa suit on, and he can't stop thinking about her. And you have to suspend your disbelief. This movie is so good. Everyone, stop what you're doing and watch it.
Okay. I have a controversial statement and perhaps question for you. I want to know what movie you think. What is that like? What is that overrated Christmas movie that we're afraid to admit? Because okay, everybody, I hate A Christmas Story. I hate that movie. I think it's one of the worst movies. It's brown and it's cold and it's sarcastic in a depressing way. And it's filled with that 40s Midwestern emotional repression. I hate it. It's not nostalgic. It's fluorescent lighting and a bad school cafeteria. I don't know. I hate it. It always puts me in the worst mood.
Can I admit something back to you?
Please?
I don't like it either.
Thank you.
Why? That's why I didn't mention it. You know why? It's depressing to me. Yes, the emotional repression of the Midwest. That's part of my life story. I'm from Chicago, so I get it. As an Irish Catholic, that's just something you grew up with. So,
and they don't talk about their feelings.
By the way, a Midwestern Irish Catholic. I'm going to get on your case about this. That's Midwestern Irish Catholicism, because Southern Irish Catholicism is based on French Irish Catholicism, which is much more joyful. But I know what you're speaking of. Just want to make a correction there.
Oh, yes. Yes, that was not a knock. Yes, anyway. That was not a knock about Catholicism. But yes, that's a good distinction to make. For me, it's the that kid, that bully, that redheaded kid with the crazy eyes. He scared the crap out of me growing up. And then there's that scene with the slide, right? And the elf kind of pushes him down the slide. That's terrifying. And I don't think the leg lamp is that funny. And the soap, yeah, they're like, he misbehaves and they're washing his mouth out with soap. Horrifying. So I'm right there with you.
I'm going to say something really quickly here, because I'm actually not going to try to push back. I'm going to tell you why I like it, but I totally get where you're coming from. I don't think a lot of people realize when Bob Clark made that movie, it may be the most dude in Dude Town dude movie ever made about Christmas as well, too.
Maybe that's why. Because there's no emotion. It's not even a little bit magical.
I don't want you guys to go back and watch it again. I won't inflict that upon you. But if maybe somebody that you care about is watching it and you sit down and watch it with them, I will tell you guys, by the way, to track every single thing that Darren McGavin as the dad does throughout the course of the movie. What you're watching them is how much he actually loves his sons. The mom, too, by the way. If you look at it through their eyes, you realize that Ralphie's view of it is so kind of dark and repressive, but everything they do in that movie, they care so deeply about those boys. And the fact that he actually pays attention to what his son says and gets him the BB gun and then lets him off the hook. And I will tell you, they get their whole meal wrecked, and rather than being angry, fa-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra. That's all I'll say. That's my argument for it.
Yeah, but you like Chinese food at Christmas, so
I do, by the way.
It's a story for you. Is there another one? Is there another move? Well, maybe you just said it. I'm glad that you and I are on the same side. But there's something else that because that's the first time I've ever admitted that. It's like, we're all supposed to be like, oh yeah, of course, A Christmas Story. And I'm 46 years old, and for 46 years I've just nodded my head along like, yeah, Christmas Story, it's a great one. And now I'm here today. I came out of my shell. I'm coming out of the closet that I hate it. Is there something else that we're all supposed to pretend we like and we don't?
Okay, let me think. You know what? The problem is they're all so good. However, we can talk. Okay, so a lot of the Netflix films, they're all like the new Netflix, holiday lineup. They're all like super hyped. Like we're all supposed to think these movies are very good, and sometimes they're just not. But watching them is enjoyable, even though maybe the script isn't that good or the performances are a little wooden, or the story is just overly corny. And one of those movies I can also weirdly recommend, even though I didn't love it, if that makes sense at all, is Champagne Problems, starring Minka Kelly. Okay, I'm retitling it Minka in Paris because she plays this like high-powered executive who's travels to France in an attempt to acquire an esteemed champagne house in the French countryside for her company. The night before her big pitch, she visits this idyllic bookstore in Paris and has a meet cute with this man named Henri, because aren't they all named Henri in these movies? And he's a soulful poet type who invites her to walk through Paris with him. And then she later discovers that his family owns the vineyard that she wants to buy.
Of course he does.
So hijinks, hurt feelings, angsty stares, luxe interiors that seem designed by Nancy Myers.
It seems a little bit, as you're describing it, a little bit like the Eat, Pray, Love of Christmas movies, perhaps.
It is that.
Okay.
And I was just kind of annoyed watching it, just a little bit, because I was like, they're just trying to bait me with these twinkle lights and like this escapist romance and this bookstore and all the wine. But I was like, they got me. Minka, she's not nearly as funny as Cameron Diaz on The Holiday, but she's kind of carved a niche for herself in these Netflix romances. She's extremely relatable. At the same time, she is so gorgeous. She's got a co-star played by the actor Sean Amsing, who's this other wino in the movie. And he's this
the other wino.
He says things like, everything I know about France, I learned from Ratatouille. So many dumb jokes, but I can imagine that joke at a party. I would make that dumb joke, and that's what that movie feels like, this fun, fizzy party. We're all on the guest list.
Ooh, fun, fizzy party.
It's enjoyable. You would like it.
I love the
would
idea
like
of a fun, fizzy party. And speaking of parties, real quick, Erin, over in the chat, a couple things. First of all, Polar Express, somebody is bringing up as their favorite, which is a great mix. But somebody, I also have to say, somebody, Long Haul Paul says there would be no Bob Dylan without Midwestern repression. So don't yuck the yum, because things come of it, I guess, is what we're trying to say. And then I have to ask you,
can you tell
Jim,
him that I love Midwestern repression? It's a source of so much comedy. John Mulaney.
yeah.
I
John
love
Candy.
it. Tell him I love it. And Bob Dylan. I love Bob Dylan too.
They can hear you now, so they heard it. Jim, I'm going to ask you and Erin, Andre, 4 Christmases, yay or nay?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Nay.
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. Vince
Yay.
Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon.
Vince
4
Vaughn is a
Christmas.
national
Erin, yay
treasure.
or nay?
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you. God,
Same.
good movie.
By the way, I have the name of your next book, Erin. It should be called Hijinks, Hurt Feelings, and the Holidays: Christmas Movies Through the Years. You
like it.
came up with it, so there you go. There it is.
I am going to pitch this to my publisher right after this. I mean, that's brilliant.
Done. We take all we take is the fact that you come back and promote it when it comes out. here with
Dedicated to
us.
Jimmy Mack, whose stupidity is always an unending source of joy. That's what I would like the dedication.
Oh, and that's
to
what I'll
say.
put on your tombstone as well.
It should-
Erin Carlson, you are a joy. You are a holiday and a year-round rom-com Hollywood historian joy. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure y'all check out her Substack over there. Just search Erin Carlson over on Substack. It's a joy. You're a joy. Thank you for being here with us. Please come back.